Hello and welcome to AutoTrader Carology Bitesize, our video series where we chat with experts in Canadian automotive to discover the latest news and trends, ensuring you are in the know. I'm your host, Sabrina Bond from AutoTrader, and today I'm joined by Baris Akyurek, our Vice President of Insights and Intelligence. As a seasoned guest of this video format, Baris is here to share some key takeaways from the latest AutoTrader Price Index report. We'll be examining how vehicle prices are trending so far this year, as well as the various market dynamics at play. Thank you so much for joining me today, Baris.
Thanks for having me, Sabrina. I always enjoy these conversations.
Likewise. Okay, let's kick this off with an overview of used and new car prices during the second quarter of this year.
Yeah, so if you remember from last time we spoke, new and used prices both were going down.
Yes.
So there's slight changes in the trends. So looking at Q2 figures, Sabrina, new car prices kind of stabilized in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So they're pretty stable. They're up slightly, but not by much. So the average price of a new car now in Canada is $66,807.
Okay.
Which is a 0.8% year-over-year increase.
Mm.
But on the used side of things, I think the trends are different different from new. So what we've been seeing is that prices keep coming down on the used side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And the average price of a used car in Canada now is $36,342.
Okay.
Which is a 8.3% year-over-year decline.
Can you shed some light on why the used car prices are dipping in particular?
Yeah, a couple of high-level reasons. So number one is we talked about this in more detail in the report, but what we've been observing is that there's a slight decline in used car demand since Q3 of last year.
Okay.
So demand is slightly down.
Mm-hmm.
And also, when we look at the supply side of things, the supply has been up by quite a bit in the last while. So as last time, I think we talked about this as well, but new car sales have been doing really well. Last year, double-digit increase. So far on a year-to-date basis, it's also up. So the more new cars are sold, the more used cars come into the market.
Yes.
So what we are seeing is that the supply for used cars is up, demand is slightly down. And what happens to prices when there's a lot of something and then not as much demand? Prices start to go down.
Of course. I recall that last time we talked, interest rates were on the decline as well. Can you give us an update on those?
Yeah, so it keeps declining. So as we all know, Bank of Canada announced their second interest rate cut a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are sitting at 4.5% overnight rate. And obviously, there's a direct correlation between what they announce and what we see in the market. So looking at new vehicle interest rates, they peaked in November of last year, based on our internal data from DealerTrack. So it was the peak was 7.4%. And now at the end of June, this came down to 6.6%. So there's quite a bit of decline, 0.7, 0.8%-ish. Having said that, when we look at the declines by OEM, they're not equal.
Oh, okay.
There's certain OEMs that reduce their interest rates more than others, depend on demand, depend on availability. But at the aggregate level, there's quite a bit of decline. Used interest rates also declined a bit, not by much, not as much. So they again peaked in November of 2023. It was 11.3%.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm talking about prime and subprime all together. And now, end of June, it was 10.9%. So 0.4% decline. So they've been coming down steadily.
So to wrap up, as we always do, can you give us an update on electric vehicle pricing and consumer interest?
Hot topic. I get that question a lot, for sure. So I think last time we spoke, we mentioned that prices were coming down at a steeper rate compared to the rest of the market, and that trend seems to be still the case. So on a year-over-year basis, average price of a new electric vehicle, and I'm talking about fully electric BEVs, they're down by 14.7% on a year-over-year basis. and the average price of a new EV now in the market is $74,245. On the used side, again, the decline is in double digits at 13.7% year over year, and the average price of a used EV now is $47,840 based on the inventory that we have available on AutoTrader.ca. So prices are coming down, and again, I'm just going to probably repeat myself a little bit here, but looking at the fully electric inventory in Canada, it's up by over 200%, more than twice that we had last year. But on the other hand, if you remember the EV research, we talked about the decline in interest.
Yes,
so
for
again,
consumers,
the interest is declining and the supply is increasing. So what happens with the prices?
They go down.
Go down. Yeah. So that's what we see. One other interesting thing that I probably want to mention is that, as you may know, in Quebec, they're phasing out. They've gradually phased out the incentive program for EVs.
Oh, yes, I did hear about that. Yeah.
So it's I think by 2027, it's going to be completely gone. By next year, the first reduction is around $3,000 for BEVs. So what we are seeing in the market is that because of the this gradual decline, there's a bit more interest in Quebec, and there's more allocation. There's more cars going to Quebec compared to the rest of the country because the demand is higher. So we're following that and more closely, and I'm sure I'll be able to give you a more detailed update next time we meet.
Yeah, sounds good. Can't wait to have you.
Awesome. Thanks again.
Thank you to those of you who have tuned in to today's episode. If you're interested in seeing our latest AutoTrader Price Index report or gaining even more automotive trends and insights, consumer research results, and more, be sure to follow AutoTrader.ca on LinkedIn or visit our newsroom on go.trader.ca. Thanks again, and we hope to have you join us at the next one.